I'm going to make it simple. The first thing I want you to do is write down all of the things on the left-hand side of your paper, all of the things that you are currently doing really well. And I promise that there are things you're doing well. And everybody has them. You probably even have more than one, but we don't think about what we're doing well. We don't take the time to look at it and see why it matters for us to spend time here. I'm going to tell you why. When I'm looking at what I'm doing well, I can enjoy the fact that I'm doing things well. I am accomplishing things. Excellent. Of course you are. There are things that come naturally to all of us. We all have gifts. Those need to be celebrated, but we tend to stop here and stay here. Your gifts can be something like, I have really great leg extensions. My legs go really high. I'm super flexible. I can do a lot of pirouettes. I jump really well. I perform really well. It can be something as simple as I have really nice feet, or my hand shape is really good. There's so many little gifts that every dancer has. Take a moment and write down the ones that you have. And if you are not sure what your gifts might be, think about things that your teacher has told you that you do well, things that you have ever demonstrated for the class, things that you enjoy doing. So the parts of class that you like are generally the things that you tend to be proficient at, because we get a feeling of accomplishment for them. An example of that was, for me, I would jump. I would jump all class if you would let me jump, because I knew that I could jump. And I felt good about doing it because I had success with it. So the parts of class that you love are generally the things that are going well for you. They're generally where you can find your little nuggets of gold. The next thing that you're going to look at, and this is the hard part, is to get brutally honest, and I do mean pretty brutal. Get brutally honest with yourself about what isn't working, what is not going well, what needs to be upgraded. The hint for this part is, what are the moments of class that you hate? The parts that you dread, the parts that you would rather do anything else but. For me, that was stretching. I hated it. I hated everything about stretching. I hated everything about stretch class. I wanted to be anywhere else doing anything else because it was hard for me. I am not naturally flexible. No matter how much I worked at it, I was never going to be the most flexible human being on the planet. But it was actually the thing that I probably should have doubled down on the most. Because the things that I did want, like over splits in my jumps or sky high leg extensions, those things were only going to be achieved if I doubled down in stretch class. So, I mean, the thing that you don't want to do is probably the most important. So take some time, get very, very honest. If you shortchange your honesty here and say, I love it all, it's not going to work out for you after. You need to be clear and you need to have some truth and some objectivity about where you're currently standing if you're actually going to get where you want to go later. Now that you have a good understanding about what is working and what isn't, now you can start to make a plan for moving forward. So if you think about a goal that you have had for a long time, for a lot of people, this is things like, I would love to be able to do X amount of pirouettes, but you kind of get stuck a little bit below that. A lot of dancers tend to get stuck around the 3 to 4 pirouette range and have a hard time bumping to the next level of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pirouettes. There is sort of a cap that we hit. Now, a lot of what's getting in your way about moving to that next level are things that you really don't want to do. So if I'm using that pirouette example, it could be things like core work and conditioning. Nobody likes to do it. Let's be real. Nobody likes to do core work. Nobody likes to do conditioning. Nobody likes to do basic foundational placement work when you've reached the proficiency to be able to do 4 pirouettes. Except that it is crucial to moving to the next phase, is to revisit and review. Or again, to do things like consistent core training and conditioning. Break down what your goal is and then find the core components of that step, which always lie in things that you don't want to do, because those are the most important, because I prefer to do things I'm already proficient in, because I get that lovely dopamine hit of success. But map out where you need to go. And yes, it's going to be hard. I never said otherwise, but I say this to my students all the time. Repeat after me. I can do hard things. Of course you can. You're a dancer. You're used to doing hard things. The whole thing is hard. Let's be real. The whole bit is hard. So you have a lot of experience in this. This is no different. You're just switching your focus from things that you already have a really strong understanding of and acknowledging where the gaps are, and then filling in those gaps to get to the next level. Now that you have identified what you need to work on, you've identified how you're going to do that, and you've put that into a plan. Now you have to work the plan, right? Like, you've planned it out. Now you have to walk the path and actually do it. This is where people fall off, because it is hard and it does require discipline. And there are certain sacrifices that you have to make, and you have to prioritize where you want to be versus where you are today. For an example, when it comes to social media, don't get on it until you've done the thing you need to do, because it is a rabbit hole and it's a time suck. And it's so easy to fall into that trap. And very often I hear this from dancers that I work with on my coaching sessions, and they say, I just don't have time, or I don't have time to practice, or I don't have time to do XYZ, whatever it might be. I don't have time to review or follow up on corrections and so on and so forth. Anytime you say that to yourself, take a good hard look at your screen time. Because if you have 30 minutes a day, and I'm being very generous here, if you have 30 minutes a day to scroll, you have 30 minutes a day to practice, or to do conditioning, or cross training, or whatever the thing is you need to work on. If you have 30 minutes a day to scroll, you have 30 minutes a day to chase your goals. So you need to choose what your priority is going to be. I do not get on social media unless I have already created my own content. That's just a rule that I have for myself, and that's for a lot of different reasons that I can go into and explain at another time if anybody wants to hear my reasoning on that. But the largest part of that is, it's too easy to waste my time. If I start looking at anything other than my own content, there goes a lot of time that is wasted and has brought me zero value to my own goals and my own aspirations for myself. You need to be just as discerning and ruthless with your time. Time is the most important resource, and it is the most finite. You can't get it back once you spend it. It's not like money where you can just go make more. You can't do that. So use your time really wisely. Get ruthless about working the plan that you set out for you, so that you can finally achieve the goals that you want and have the season that you're capable of having.